Sean Combs' The Reckoning, Episode 2. What goes down must come up. There's a robbery storyline that happened the first time that Tupac gets really mentioned. He gets shot while, I think, visiting or trying to record something with Diddy or something of that nature. A recording studio that the only people that knew of Tupac pulling up was Diddy and his people. There ends up being a shootout, and that kind of rubs Tupac the wrong way because it's like, oh, did you just... Okay. I see you. Don't even worry about it. Bad Boy continues to be on the rise. They're dropping an album of the year. This song, Flavor in Your Ear, is going, and it's going like platinum. Everyone is listening. There's a lot of good vibes going on, right? And then not even to mention, as Bad Boy was coming up, everybody started to get on board because they recognized, okay, if I want to be big, I have to go to Bad Boy. That's the only way I'm ever going to become a quote unquote rapper, because they were the only people that were like doing it for real. And that's when you start to notice there's a lot of meat munching that was going throughout everybody. And that's another thing that puts into perspective throughout this whole documentary. Being that Diddy was one of the first gateways, especially in the rap industry, not only was there nowhere else to go, it turned out where if you weren't willing to kiss the ring and bow down, there was no place for you in this empire, and you just had to accept that was the rules of the engagement. Because it's like, what, you're gonna try and, I don't know, buck back? Yeah, Diddy's not gonna be your god after he's out here putting everybody on money and game and motion. You will just get replaced. There starts being a lot of dissension amongst the court, right? There starts to be a lot of dissension that starts to happen. And there's a lot of loose ends that also start to happen too. Because as Bad Boys was on the rise, there was still money that needed to be recouped. So Diddy was like, all right, well, I need to make more money. I need to make more plays. Kirk, go ahead and give me my 25% back. Sign up for 2025. And the story was, Sean tells Kirk to pull up. He goes into the office, and Diddy is standing on top of him with a bat telling him to sign off your percentage if you know what's good for you. Now, here's why that's like not only crazy, but noticeably important in the story of trying to frame everything that's going on. Because it's like, one, the consistent resort to violence, because it's like, not only are you going to threaten this person's life with a bat, you're going to threaten your closest homie with a bat. And 3, you're going to do what? Beat him senseless? Murder him over this 25%? Not even to mention that the 25% was his. He was the one that was doing the books. He was the one that was playing everyone. He was the person that was reaching out to all these different people to make sure this company moved the way it needed to. And then it's like, oh yeah, no, we will need that 25%. Even as the time would go on, as time would pass, people would consistently ask, bro, why would you give up that money? And why would you sign it away so like early too? And he's like, well, I just wanted to be a part of the company. Do you know when you build something, do you know when something is your baby and you looking around, you're trying to like make this thing work? You are willing to stay in the abusive scenario that you are in to be able to consistently put towards a good effort to make this idea a thing. Oh, and something that I noticed, and not even to mention, so we could talk about how he was doing those type of people bad. There needs to be an emphasis on the idea of doing everybody around you bad for the extent to make a little bit of money, or in this case, a lot of money. So everybody on his organization was broke. That was one of the things that people would like consistently talk about. It's like, if you were a rapper under Bad Boy, you were broke. Everybody knew it. Everybody knew the gig. You were not going to be able to make no money out of your contract because everybody had a bad 360 contract. For example, Craig Mack, right? He was trying to get some bread. He was trying to get some of his bread, right? And Kirk was trying to explain it like this. One of the reasons why it's so difficult for any of the artists to actually get their money is they would put all the money in shell company. They had you playing the shell game where you literally do your best trying to track this money. But after the 8th company that you're looking through to try and figure out where your money is going, you're just going to keep running around looking for your tail, and everybody else will just be moving forward until you are just completely forgotten, especially if you're not willing to play the game. Alongside that, and alongside the money being hidden, they were paying Diddy. Diddy was getting so much bread from this. It was one of those things where it's like, well, I was in the music video, so I'm going to pay me for the music video. Oh, for your song? Well, here's a quick ad lib. Here's 3 sentences into your song, and you know what? This was $100,000. I was just working. I was dancing. I was in the music. I was popping and locking it. And the amount of times they're showing Diddy dancing, it was like, okay, you know when someone believes that they're dancing like Chris Brown, but actually they're just like throwing their hip out every few movements? Yeah, that's kind of like the vibe that was coming from. And I love the way that everybody was emphasizing this idea of, bro, he can't rap. he can't rap. Everybody would say it. And it felt like everyone was starting to get annoyed of like these little antics also, where it's like, all right, here this A&R dude goes. Because keep in mind, he wasn't producing nothing. He wasn't writing no music. He wasn't doing the videography. He was doing none of that. And he was like, yeah, I will get all this money and I will be a really big part of it because I'm the guy. I don't care that you're the artist. I'm the most important person in the room. Are we square? Are we good? And then as time would go on, Death Row Records makes an appearance. Randomly, they pop up. And when I tell you, it seemed as if they were the exact antithesis to everything Bad Boy was doing. So think of it like this. They would constantly, their artists were getting paid. They didn't have the A&R guy just randomly dancing in the back. They weren't having to like bow down and bend the knee constantly to the A&R guy to the owner of the record label, because of that wasn't their role. And one of the things you start to notice, especially another form of abuse, is if I can make everybody around me need me, and if I can make everyone around me so uncontrollably broke, what are you gonna do? Where are you gonna go? You're just gonna sniff me? You're not gonna listen to me when I tell you to jump and touch your toes and turn around and twerk in a circle? You're not gonna do exactly what I told you? Don't worry about it. You'll be replaced. And guess what? And now you're a grown artist asking your papa for money. What are you gonna do? You're asking me for money. You're looking towards me for some bread. You untalented. And then that's how the manipulation starts to build upon itself. And here's some of the crazy things, right? As these stories go on, you start to recognize there is too many gun stories. This SOB is crazy. Okay, so here's this one story, right? So they're at this club, right? It's Suge, Diddy, this guy named Jake, I think. This guy named Jake, right? They're in the club. Shootout breaks loose. Diddy tells Suge, oh, and guess what? I'm going to kill your whole family. I'm going to murk all y'all. And he goes and ends up shooting Jake. Like, he looks Suge in the eyes and he starts just firing off on this random dude named Jake. Shoots him, I think, like 9-10 times. And as everything is blowing up, this person, as the stories go on, they continuously get more and more crazy. And you're starting to wonder, why is nobody, like, speaking up? And it's one of those things where it's like, it's too late. Too much time has passed. There's too much, not so much even on the terms of like allegations, but everything feels like it has been building to the point where there's no return. Because it's like, what? You're gonna out crazy the guy that I was talking about? He was willing to end everything and everybody? Okay. So after that shootout, I don't think anybody really gets charged. Everybody moves on. No one gets booked. It's crazy. Next happens. Pac goes to jail. He has some legal troubles. I think assault, if I remember correctly. Suge goes and visits him in prison, and they chop it up. They start to like each other, and then they recognize that they both have a common enemy because of not only was Pac shot at, he has this feeling that Diddy has something to do with it. Everybody has a feeling that Diddy has something to do with it, but hey, nothing's been proven. We move on. And Suge's like, hey, you should come join Death Row. With our reach and your magic and your ability to be like the perfect rapper, we will do so much. So they say, let's pair up. And when I tell you, Pac starts going crazy. He starts dropping iconic. He goes and drops All Eyes on Me. He drops the fuck your bitch and the bitch you claim. And that's crazy. That's crazy. Because now he starts alluding to the fact that he was clapping on Biggie's I think mother of her child, I think, something crazy like that. But probably one of the first like real crazy diss tracks, one of the most all-time ones. People looking around like this Drake and Kendrick was crazy. No. This one is like the rap beef ever. So as it starts going crazy, Biggie doesn't really want to engage. He doesn't really want to like play into this whole the song and dance of it all. So Diddy's like, so you're just gonna like let him really talk about your baby moms? That's the yo girl? Really? That's how you gonna do it? Couldn't be me. And here's the crazy part. Biggie still wasn't trying to like bite on it. He was not trying to escalate it because he knows people could actually get hurt from this. Because this is back in the time when folks would actually throw it. This is back in the time when people were ready to throw their life and just die. They're ready to just throw their life away on camera. Let's kill each other. That was the era of rap that they were currently in, where it's like, no, this is a dangerous time to be alive. So a little bit of time passes, right? And I think Pac gets shot again. And Biggie goes and drops the song, Who Shot You? And that's when it's just like, all right, all gloves are off. Things are crazy. Folks are just dancing on each other, laughing, doing all this extra stuff, right? I was looking back at some of those music videos. They had this guy that was parodying. They had this one guy that was parodying Biggie, and he was literally just like in the music video. I think they kill him in the music video, but it's crazy. Everyone's wilding out. So there's this Tyson fight, and Tupac, after he's excited, he's happy, he's joyous, everything is just like ruckety. I'm happy, right? He goes and sees this guy that stiffs him. Orlando Anderson. He recognizes him. He peels off. Boom. Shoom. Runs up after him. They get into a quick fight. It's a big scuffle. Hands thrown, feet, whoopings, everybody going crazy. After the fight breaks loose, Pac runs off and he gets shot in the car. And this is the same night. So after the fight, Pac runs off, he gets in the car, they shoot up the car. And during this time, he was supposed to go and visit Craig Mack on a stage. He was supposed to perform with Craig Mack at this stage, because Craig Mack has been like, I'm over it with Diddy. He has been doing far too much this whole time. I want to actually make some real money. I am broke. I need somewhere to go. And as that night goes on, he thinks that Tupac just stiffs him. He just doesn't show up. And after that, Diddy goes and calls him. He's like, so after Tupac runs off, he gets shot. And it's crazy. Shot through the car. And that's a crazy night, because if he was supposed to go meet Craig Mack on the stage, he's supposed to be performing with him, and he just doesn't show up. So he's like, well, what's going on? And he finds out that he dies. And after that moment, he's like, oh, okay, so I guess I can't go to Death Row Records, because he was trying to make that switch, because he's getting pretty tired of Diddy, because it's one of those things where it's like, hey, I've been rapping for this long. I've been giving you all these albums. I've been giving you all this work, and I'm still broke. I'm still asking you for money. This is ridiculous. So some time passes, right? There's a lot of conjunctions. They're trying to figure out what's happening. The police are trying to make a good case against what's going on. So folks starts following the trail. Anytime there's a lot of congestion, you got to follow the money. And one of the things that does is times to lead to what's most important. So the money leads to this guy named Keith. Keith is a gang leader. And not only is he a gang leader, his nephew is Orlando. The guy that got in a fight with Pac? That's interesting. Diddy ends up paying this guy, let's call him Zip. And Zip ends up paying Keith. And Keith goes, and allegedly the idea is he goes and gets rid of Pac. And Suge is not talking. So guess what happens? Everything falls to the wayside. You can't get a real heading on what happened, and everything just falls apart. Diddy goes and drops Muscle Game, and it literally sounds like, well, after Diddy drops Muscle Game, it sounds as if this is a declaration of what I have done. This is, I can do no wrong. If you try me, I will get you. I will move this way. I'll move that way. You think you are safe? Good luck. And that's crazy. So when all this is happening, Big starts getting a little paranoid, and he goes on a trip. He does some performances, but you might wonder, why would he do that, right? Diddy goes and he tells him, he's like, hey, this would be a good idea. You should reach out your arm. He was one of your friends. Me and you, we should just do the right thing and just help them out. That's just how things goes. That's how we do be professional. He goes out there, and the same night, things go horribly wrong. He ends up getting shot. After he goes on this tour, he ends up getting murdered. No one knows who shot him. Everybody is confused. There's some hints that it felt like somebody might have pushed who to go where, this specific place, a specific time, paid these specific people to do these specific things, but there's no smoking gun, as they say. Since no one is talking, no one knows what's what, and we can't make an arrest without knowing what is going on or having definitive proof that's able to push you down this specific narrative. And that's one of the things that's interesting while you are watching this. It shows you a light that no one has been talking about. Well, let me say it again. People have been talking about it, but it hasn't been looked at as a serious conjunction. They haven't been recognized as like a true possibility, because of even today, folks are asking about who shot Biggie, who shot Pac, how did this all go down? And yet nobody still has information. After Biggie dies, right? National news, it's big, and out of the kindness of Diddy's heart, he says, you know what? I think that we should have the biggest funeral to celebrate him. The world must know the type of love that we got. Biggie gotta be able to look down at us and smile that we've done so much good work. And guess what happens? After spending all that money, after making a spectacle of his death, guess who pays for it? Biggie's estate. And you know where it gets crazy? So after Biggie dies, Diddy goes and tells Kirk, he's like, hey, I need you to rewrite that contract that he already signed for his new album, and, you know, add some things here, make it easier for us to get some money there, and make it overall more palatable for our company. And Kirk looking around like, hey, yo, what's going on? That sounds crazy. After saying this sounds crazy, he looks around and says, oh, so you're not about the group? You're like, oh, okay. You're not with us? Don't worry about it. You are fired. And that's where he is, just empty-handed, gone. Forgotten until time. Yeah. And one of the most interesting parts about it, so Biggie was also going to be on the cover of the Rolling Stone, and that was going to push him into stardom. He was going to be pushed into the mass media. Everybody was going to know who this man Biggie was. But after the death, do you know who's on that cover? Diddy. Diddy was on that cover. And after that moment, there was no turning back. He just goes and skyrockets through his fame and popularity and the money. I like the way that he's setting up these episodes, because the first one seems to be a backdrop into the person and the characteristics of this man named Diddy, right? Everything that he's done, all the little sly stuff that just somehow, some way just disappears, all the people that has been forgotten to time, but it's just Diddy that prevails. And then you move on to the second episode where you recognize how big of controversies that he's truly been a part of, and people looking around and they're like, okay, not only is he willing to throw people under the bus, but he would rather prefer throwing people under the bus. And that seems like the main idea that he is pushing throughout this whole second episode.